Right, India losing that semi-final match to a triumphant England, whose batsmen were really in good nick today as they easily went past that target India had set for them, 169 to win. England getting that very comfortably without losing any wickets at all. So England closing in really on that comprehensive win in the semi-final of the T20 World Cup in Adelaide. Alex Hales and Jos Buttler both racing to their respective 50s, keeping Indian bowlers at bay. Alex Hales getting his 50 in just 28 balls. Jos Buttler giving him good support from the other end. The Indian bowlers really looked like they weren't in the game at all as the England openers made short shrift of that total, thrashing India by 10 wickets to win a spot, to seal a spot in the finals. They will be taking on Pakistan. So huge disappointment really for Indian, well, subcontinental fans who had hoped to see an India-Pakistan title clash. So India knocked out of the T20 World Cup. That's the big breaking story at this point. England reaching the T20 World Cup final that will be taking place in Melbourne. England beating India by a comprehensive 10 wickets. This is not the way India would have hoped to end their T20 World Cup sojourn. And the English batsmen really exposing the chinks in India's bowling. Rika joining us at this point with the latest on that. Rika, huge disappointment, of course. A lot of hopes riding on this match and the potential for an India-Pakistan title clash, but that wasn't to be. But if we look at, the score at the end of this semi-final, the Indian bowlers will have lots to introspect on.
Ankita, what's most disappointing is that the number one T20 team in the world, which is India, gets knocked out of the Cricket World Cup and gets beaten by England by not 1 or 2 wickets, but by 10 wickets. When India managed to put up that total on the board, 168, and England were chasing 169. There are a lot of people who said that this could turn out to be a close contest, but nowhere near was it close. England won the match in the power play itself. They got off to a brisk start, never let their guard down, never let the Indian bowlers dominate. The Indians put up an insipid bowling performance today. Earlier in the day when Shane Watson was doing the match report, he kept on saying how good the wicket was to bat on. Indians did not bat well on this track. They started slowly, and I think the biggest disappointment perhaps tonight would be the fact that the Indian openers, not for a single time during this edition of the World Cup, were able to give India a good start. It was not, the blame cannot entirely be taken by the bowling unit. The batting unit equally has to take the blame, and particularly the Indian openers, them not firing. Of course, Virat Kohli once again scoring 50 runs, Hardik Pandya powering India in the end, but nothing really was enough against this power-packed England batting lineup. You saw how Jos Buttler and Alex Hales went after the Indian bowling. They started in 5th gear, and they never really slowed down in the course of the the 20 over chase. They in fact timed the innings well, and as a result today in Adelaide, India are knocked out of the Cricket World Cup.
Right, Rika, we were talking at the end of the Indian innings and wondering whether 169 was going to be enough, and you expressed your sort of reservations about that at that point. But did you imagine at that point that England was going to get to it so easily, not dropping a single wicket?
Not at all. Not at all, Ankita. I thought 169 was not enough. but I didn't think that it would be, such an easy victory for India. They will romp home to win even before 20 overs. Honestly, I thought Indians will be able to take a few wickets, get the match close, even if they did not win. As someone who follows Indian cricket very closely, what is really disappointing for me is not the loss, but the 10-wicket loss that they had against the English tonight.
Yeah. Rika, do stay with us as we get reactions from fans around the country. Vedant joining us from Delhi at this point. Vedant, just a little while ago, you were talking to fans who were still hoping, against hope perhaps, that there would somehow be an Indian victory today and an India-Pakistan clash in the final. But that's not to be. And not only that, this is really ignominy for India. England reaching that total with what 4 overs to spare, and of course all 10 wickets in hand.
Well, absolutely, Ankita, as you said, young fans here hoping against hope, really, and a lot of them actually shocked immediately after, they were all nervously checking scores, as I said. So, let's in fact get in a word from some of them. So, what was the biggest disappointment and through this match?
10 विकेट से जीतना बहुत ज्यादा डिसअपॉइंटमेंट था. एटलीस्ट एक आधी विकेट तो गिरनी चाहिए थी इंग्लैंड.
एटलीस्ट एक आध विकेट गिरनी चाहिए थी. आप बताइए कि आप लोग यू वर स्टिल प्रैक्टिसिंग, आई सॉ, एंड आपको स्कोर पता चला, तो व्हाट वाज योर फर्स्ट रिएक्शन? आई एम श्योर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ मोर नेक टू नेक सेमीफिनाले.
Well, it's because both India and England are both very good teams, and they've shown great consistency throughout the tournament. So all we were expecting was that it would be a tough competition. But England beat us by 10 wickets, which was a total whitewash for India. And it was something that was totally not expected, because all of us were hoping for another India-Pakistan match on the finals on the Sunday. But apparently it didn't happen.
Right. So, all of them, as, all of them hoping for an India-Pakistan match, really. But, sir, what was your biggest disappointment, through this match? As she said, we were expecting a more sort of a neck-to-neck, semi-final.
First off, was big disappointing in today's match that कि हम bowlers ने हमें बहुत disappoint किया है. 6 bowlers मिलके आप विकेट नहीं निकाल पा रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं बहुत सोचने की ज़रूरत है इस पर. फर्स्ट थिंग्स. सेकंड, हम देखते आ रहे लास्ट कई मैच से, एशिया कप से देखते आ रहे हमारे ओपनर्स कोलैप्स कर जा रहे हैं. आप सारी चीज़ विराट कोहली, सूर्य कुमार यादव मिडिल ऑर्डर पे छोड़ दोगे तो वो हमेशा आपको ऐसे नहीं कर सकते आपको कि इसको बड़ा स्कोर ला के देंगे. अगर ओपनर सही स्टार्ट दे दें तो हो सकता था ये 90 प्लस 80 प्लस का स्कोर हो सकता था. फर्स्ट थिंग. सेकंड थिंग ये है कि आपके पास डीके बाहर बैठा हो, केएल राहुल नहीं चल रहा है, और या फिर आपका 7 बैट्समैन के साथ खेल सकते हैं. आपको कंडीशन वहाँ की पता है, सिचुएशन पता है, विकेट्स कैसे पता है, पिछले 1 महीने से आप वहाँ पे हो, ये सारी चीज़ें पता है आपको. तो फिर भी इसके बाद हम 10 विकेट से हार रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको सोचने की ज़रूरत है, आगे के लिए तैयारी करने की ज़रूरत है.
Right. So, well, Ankita, a lot of them, as they were saying, that it's complete whitewash for India, and a lot of them were not only expecting, a more neck-to-neck semi-final, but also that much, coveted India-Pakistan finals also on Sunday.